Hello, everyone. It's me, Butterfly Spirit. Sorry about that. Hello, guys. It's me, Butterfly Spirit 314. So, guys, I wanted to give you guys some good news. So, I just finished reading book number two that I've been reading. For many of you, you know that I've been reading The Dance of Connection. Basically, I started reading The Dance of Connection because after I finished reading The Dance of Anger, the first book that Harriet Lerner wrote, then I found myself still feeling like there was more I needed to learn about speaking to people when I find myself being frustrated and angry. And so, learning about anger and the dance of anger was one thing. And there was a lot of very helpful things in there that I learned. Some things that I'm still kind of processing and things. With the case of the dance of connection in particular, with this book, it helped me to be more vocal when I have to say things and speak up. And I've noticed that as I've been reading this book, there's things I noticed my like how I interact with people has been changing. So, like one thing I've been doing, and I've noticed this. Um, so I identified basically when I was reading The Dance of Anger, I know I'm the kind of person that I like to be the person that will fix things. I'm a fixer. So if somebody seems to be struggling with something or whatever, I like to kind of run in and kind of help or fix things for people. If I see that they can't handle something, then I'll just kind of jump in and do that. And I have a history of doing that. Okay. I did that a lot in the relationship that I was in with my boyfriend that I had. So I found myself kind of, basically um, kind of coming on strong and doing stuff, and feeling like I have to, like, oh my gosh, I have to kind of come in and I have to take control, I have to take charge, and stuff is like stressful and everything. I got to come in and do this. So what I've noticed is since I've kind of became aware of some of the things like behaviors that I have, um, one of the things I realized is I was like, well, I didn't really do much at that point, and I kind of start thinking about like kind of being like trying to fix things, trying to overhelp people, and things like that. And I thought about that, and I thought about it for some weeks. And it wasn't until sometime later that when I was reflecting over arguments that I would have in my prior relationship, that I realized that, you know, um, I may be a vocal person and I can do a lot of talking, but I realized that one weakness that I have is that I have a hard time expressing myself clearly when I'm angry. And so I was like, well, I wish I knew how to try to speak clearly and with understanding when I'm frustrated. Like, I wish I could do that. And so I found out that Harriet Lerner had another book, The Dance of Connection. And that book would teach me about how to talk to somebody when I'm mad, hurt, scared, frustrated, insulted, betrayed, or I feel like I'm desperate. Okay. And so, as I've been reading the book, one thing I've noticed is I've noticed that I've started to relax. Okay. I've started to relax. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that instead of me coming on strong and trying to over help another person, I just kind of sit back and just kind of let things kind of roll. So, like, for example, there was a couple of new guys that joined our team. And there was a guy on my team that was responsible for doing the training. And when the new guys came in, there were, certain times when I wanted to jump in and I wanted to help, right? But what I learned to do is I learned to kind of just sit back and let the new guys, whoever was responsible for training them, even if that person may be telling them the wrong thing or whatever, that coworker is responsible for doing their training. Okay, training the two new guys. It's not on me. And what I learned is if the new guys have an issue or they seek out my help, then I can, kind of come in and help them if they have a question or they ask me something. You know, now there has been situations with the new guys that came in where my coworker that was doing the training, he would question like why I did something different than the way he was training, one or two of the new guys on. But you know what? I stuck to the way that I did, like I had been doing my work and just been cool with that. And I didn't change the way I was doing anything because the way I've been doing my work has been fine. So I'm like, I'm not going to go and feel pressure to change because you're teaching them this, you know. And here's the thing, the new guys that have joined the team, they have made some mistakes. I've kind of come in and fixed those mistakes after they've happened. But what I did do was I ended up, when I was at work, I ended up basically, yeah, I did fix their mistakes, but I did, tell management, I said, hey, a client called about this, such and such did this, you know, and one of the new guys did this. I'm gonna go ahead and correct this for them, and fix this. Rather than going to the new guys and telling them, I'm like, it's just faster if I go ahead and get this out the way. In a couple of occasions, I've kind of done that because it's been more consistent rather than me going to the client and saying, hey, sir, ma'am, we got a new guy, he did this or whatever, it's just faster for me to just fix it and move on, right? In some situations, it's okay to like, I felt to like kind of just fix it and move on, and they'll learn later, and it can, like, for me, it is a little hard to like take a backseat to things. But what I've noticed is since I've been relaxed and just kind of going with the flow, at work, in that time frame where normally I would kind of jump in and do stuff, in that when I have downtime, I'm working on myself. I'm learning things about myself and stuff like that when I'm at work, learning things about hobbies that I have, like sewing or whatever, and just spending my time learning and growing myself, instead of focusing so intently on what another person is doing, because I'm putting my energy into them. What am I doing for myself? Now if a coworker needs help, yeah, I'll jump in and, help out. Now, of course, since the new guys have been there, I've been promoted, which is awesome. It's great. I think it's great. But even though I have been, I don't really let it go to my head. I'm just like, okay, well, I'm still doing the same job, but I'm just, and my pay is just more recognized, now. So, and that's a good thing, and I've also noticed since I've been reading The Dance of Connection, I've noticed that I may have already said this, but I've been speaking up for myself more, in conversations with people. So in situations where I might not have said things, now, I've been speaking up and saying, hey, you know, this, and, normally I would kind of back down and kind of cower in fear type thing. But now I'm like speaking up and just talking to people, you know, and just kind of, if I see that people are acting in ways, like I had a coworker at work where She was saying that, I guess she complained about me coming by and talking to her at her desk. Guess what I did? When that coworker complained or whatever, blaming me for the reason her boss was coming over and picking on her because I come by and talk to her at her desk. But when other people do it, she's fine with them, but not with me. I haven't really been talking to that coworker. You know, did I speak up to her and tell her, no, I'm gonna keep coming and talking to her? No. One day after she said that, I came by and said, hey, just to be nice. But after that point, I took the time to realize that she wasn't going to come. She had the ability to come over and over to my desk and talk to me, just like I saw her going and talking to other people, you know? And so I recognize that sometimes, I have to let people be themselves. I have to let them, I don't have to overcompensate, and I have to let a person, kind of share, and if I come over to their desk, they come over to my desk. Now, there's other people who I go over and talk to and stuff like that. They may not come over to my desk, but they may show an interest and be cool with me coming over and talking to them. You know what I'm saying? Without there being an issue. Now, the funny thing about that coworker is, funny thing about her is that she spoke to me in the break room one day. I think I said this in one of my other videos. She spoke to me one day. She was like, "Oh, you got a cute skirt." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." And I didn't say nothing to her. And I noticed she's been kind of watching me kind of going and talking to other people and having conversations with other people. But by and large, with my actions, I'm demonstrating that I only want to talk to people who have an interest in me as a person. You know what I'm saying? They actually will carry on the conversation. They'll seem interested or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not just somebody who's gonna complain or whatever and stuff, and you're trying to get me to leave you alone, but then I do that, but now you're wanting me to come over and talk to you or whatever because you see me talking to other people. No. You know what I'm saying? What's the point? You know what I mean? So, and that's another thing too, is letting a person be themselves, and understanding that, yeah, you know what I mean? It's letting people be themselves is important, and being yourself is important, and not compromising your sense of self is important, you know. And also, I'm just seeing little changes and stuff. When people have said things that I haven't agreed with, I'll speak up and say, hey, this. There's sometimes where I'm still nervous to talk about things, but you know what? I try to bring up my confidence, or I will admit to people, hey, I feel nervous about this, or I feel worried about this, or concerned about this. I'm more expressing my feelings versus in the past, I probably wouldn't even have done that. I might have just kind of kept quiet, you know, and stuff. But yeah, I'm getting a bit more comfortable with like expressing myself and stuff like that, and I think that's a good thing, So you guys may be wondering, where do you go from here? Well, where I go from here is that since I finished the Dance of Connection, so this book, this book right here. So since I finished this book had, my goodness, this book had, and this was actually signed by Harriet Lerner, the author. So I read a total of 15 chapters, and I read 233 pages. So, and I'm very proud of myself because, in the past I wasn't really able to get through a whole book, but now I'm able to like get through books and stuff, which is like super awesome, which is super great. I didn't take any notes while I was like, I would kind of underline stuff in the book or whatever and stuff when I thought something was interesting, but I haven't taken notes on it. But I did have a realization recently about something in the book, and that was in like chapter 2. And I was like, and it made me think about like a situation I had in the past a bit differently. I was like, and I never thought about it like that before until like after I finished the book. So it's funny. It's like after I finished the books, then I'm like, then I realized. So anyway, where I go from here is that basically where I go from here is I'm going to be moving on to Harriet Lerner's next book. So she has a couple of other books, or I think she has three other books that I'd like to read. I think there's a book called The Dance of Fear that she has. Um, and then there is, excuse me. So she has The Dance of Fear. I think The Dance of Intimacy. And then there's another book she has too. So one of those books I'm probably going to read. It's probably going to be probably the dance of maybe fear. I might get to. That might be a book that I'd like to move on to next and get. So I'll be buying that from off eBay because eBay is a great place to buy books. It seriously is. So once I get that book in the mail, I'm gonna start like reading that book. But the crazy thing is, once I've finished, these books, it is really giving me more of an understanding. Like it's like changing my life and changing my perspective on things in really new and different ways. And I like that. I really like that. And I'm starting to really see myself like I'm starting to like really start to get an understanding about who I am as a person. And in one of my videos recently, I was like, when I did a video about me working out, I was like, I don't even recognize myself. And I guess it's because I'm starting to know myself, as they say, know thyself, right? I'm starting to get to know myself and know things about myself that I didn't know. And I guess for a long time, for years, I've spent so much of my time on focusing so much on other people. I didn't realize that to my detriment, I wasn't learning much about myself. And so now, like these new realizations I'm having about myself and learning about myself is really just helping me as a person and helping me unlock who I really am and stuff. And I really like that. And I'm only going to continue to learn more about myself as time goes on. But I love what I'm doing. And I'm going to be moving on to book number 3. So we'll see what happens with that. But with each of these books, it like unlocks like these different things about myself. And it's just like amazing. So I just can't wait to see what happens next. I really can't wait to see it. And I'm excited. And one of the things is, guys, is that I think when I was reading The Dance of Connection, the funny thing is, once I started reading The Dance of Connection, that's when I started sharing my pole dancing videos and my progress. That's been one of the things that's been associated with this book I read, is that it has taught me that it's okay to share. It's okay to share my experiences, to let people know and distinguish who I am as a person. Even my family is starting to notice too, about me as a person, that, I'm not the person that this idea of who they think I am, they're starting to realize that I'm this, like they're starting to see things about me that they did not know and they weren't aware of. And oh yeah, one thing I was gonna say, I did send back a few months ago, I sent one of my two of my aunties a Christmas card. And one of them actually did respond and send me a Christmas card back, which was really cool, and I was not expecting. So I think, no, I sent a Thanksgiving card, and then one of my aunts sent me a Christmas card back. And actually, she even called me, so I have to give her a call back. I've been meaning to do that, but I've been like running around having a lot of things going on. But anyway, yeah, I'm just really happy about just what I'm learning and what I'm doing. And I just can't wait to continue this journey forward, and discover more things about myself. Anyway, guys, thank you all for tuning in whenever you get around to this video. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you and your views. And have a great night, guys. Bye.